And then I believe we got Christy Martin on the line. There she is. Christy Martin.
Christy, good to see you.
What's up, monsters?
Former heavyweight champion of the world. Christy, I got to tell you, I was watching your Netflix special. Now, I remember last time you were on with us, you told us this was going to happen. And when I saw that it was on, I'm like, I can't wait to watch it. And you actually described everything that's in the Netflix special. You described it in detail to us, but when I watched it on the Netflix special, it had so much of a bigger impact. And I got to tell you, you look great, by the way.
You look great.
You look absolutely beautiful. And the story is an incredible story. And I love the part of the story where when you finally came out and told people like who you really were, you were told your entire life that people weren't going to accept you, people wouldn't like you, and people even loved you more after that. I thought that was just a great thing. But when you watched the Netflix special and you saw the things that your ex-husband who is in prison had to say, was that the first time you had seen that stuff? Like when you watched the special, or did you preview it before?
Well, I did get to watch it a couple of weeks before the release, but with that being said, it was still the first time that I have seen him, and then to listen to him continue to lie for whatever reason. I'm thinking it's been almost 11 years, and he's getting old. And maybe he's going to actually say he did it. But he's the same old ass that he was. I was married to him, and
right, make her bigger.
Arrogant. How can you be so arrogant? You've been in prison for 11 years. Prison. And he's in like maximum security prison.
Yeah.
So, and he's changed not one bit. He's still
and Christy, he was so cocky in that thing. Like I texted you last night, but as I was watching it, I was like, this son of a bitch. Like no remorse. Still cocky, winking at the camera.
I'll tell you what.
I was infuriated.
Christy, you dealt with a real sociopath. You dealt with a textbook sociopathic man, and you barely made it out alive. And so you were dealing with the worst of a true deal with the devil. I mean, what a fitting title.
Yeah, that's the title of it. It's called Untold, a Deal with the Devil. And Christy Martin is on with us right now. The story, I mean, to watch it is absolutely amazing. And Christy, tell me, so when you saw it, I mean, did it bring back it had to bring back a bunch of horrible memories.
Well, it was twofold, because at the beginning it's kind of going through the boxing career and everything. And I got to hang out with Deirdre Gogarty. I got to, see Jimmy Maloney, Miguel Diaz, a lot of these people that meant so much to me on the professional side of life. But so that was cool. But then as we, it kind of transitioned into, okay, now here's the meat of the story. It was, I got a little tight. Probably broke a sweat and had to have a drink.
When you went back and saw all of your old fights, like I remember watching your fight when you fought when you were on that card with Mike Tyson, and I know I saw a couple of your other fights, but I had not seen like that much of your fighting. And man, I mean, Christy, we always loved you, and I always knew you were a great fighter, but you were really a badass, and I don't want to say I had forgotten, but we got to know you in a different way, and so I had forgotten how dominant you were. I mean, when you look back at that, is it hard to believe you're the same person?
It was so much fun to watch that stuff again, and all along I was really never the same person as the one that got into the ring, because that person, Christy Martin was an arrogant, ass, and just, I'd like to knock you out and let you know I did it.
Yeah.
Really, I'm not like that. I'm truly pretty shy. So, it was a dual personality, which I'm a Gemini, so I can get away with that.
Woo, Gemini.
I am a woman. So,
yeah.
Right, Savannah, we can be whatever we want on one
Yep.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and to relive those moments and memories, it was terrific. But the bottom line is, freaking to sit there and listen to Jim just continue to lie. I mean,
he's a piece of crap. That's the worst guy. He's the worst guy ever. Hey, going back real quick to when you were fighting, and you mentioned this in the documentary or in the special, and you were making, like, let's say, like gay jokes or gay, slanderous things, and the whole time knowing that you really were gay. At the time when you were doing that, was it just, I don't know, was it part of denial? Was it part of you just trying to get in the head of the other person? Like, talk to us about that time.
Well, most of that was just Jim being in my ear and telling me you have to say this, and at the beginning I wouldn't, and then I would have to go back to the room and then argue with him and deal with him. So it just became easier for me to say stuff. Now some of the stuff like that they show with Deshaun, I really don't like her, and it really wouldn't matter if she was male or female. I'd love to, I'd love that press conference talking crap and trying to get in people's heads. That got me ready.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff I said, I probably would have said no matter what. But yeah, the bad homophobic slurs that I made, I regret.
Sure.
But I was being forced to do it. But even with that being said, I would tell Jim, you don't get it, because somebody from my past is going to come out and they're going to say, oh yeah, well, she might be saying that now, but in college, I was her girlfriend. So, and I would.
Can't say that.
Christy, can I ask a question?
Say BS. Quickly, okay. In the documentary, you talk about the first time you decided to get in the ring with him for some reason. He wanted to box with you, and he knocked you out. And he says, when he's talking, he's like, well, I didn't mean to. I mean, it was, like he kind of plays that off. Talk to us about that time, because I found that interesting that he decided to get you in the ring. It seemed like you were maybe taking his attention away or something, and he wanted to show you who was boss or something like that.
I mean, and that's what he said. Basically, how was that? I have to show him who's boss, or that he's still in charge. That wasn't the deal at all. It was tough for me to find sparring partners. So Jim was a professional boxer and had lots of experience. So I felt like no matter what, I'll have a built-in sparring partner always. So one day we couldn't find anybody, and he was supposed to get in the ring and just kind of move and spar with me, and it just kind of helped me learn.
Right.
But he did all right. He knocked me out, and that was the truth. That the only time I've been knocked out. Yeah, against Layla Ali, I took a knee out, but I was still awake.
Christy, after a knockout is a big moment in a fighter's life, especially never being knocked out. It messes with you mentally. It messes with you physically. Did you feel different after that moment? Because that's when a lot changed.
Well, I think that him knocking me out was just more than it had to happen in a fight. I mean, in a fight, it's like it's fair. I mean, you know right. That can happen. But when I went in there against my husband, I can't say that I expected that he was going to try to knock me out. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't have words to explain how that made me feel. And, the trust issue, which you have to trust your trainer.
Of course.
You want to think you can trust your husband.
Yeah.
But that definitely broke that trust barrier. That went too far.
Another thing too, and once again, I got to commend you on your bravery of the things that you talked about in this. It doesn't look like you held anything back at all, and you go to explain when it looked like it was like the lowest time of your life when you guys had a coke issue, and in order to get more cocaine, he would take pictures of you, and he wanted you to like put a dildo, on a strap on and take pictures of you, and then he ends up sending those pictures to your mom. How freaking terrible is that? I mean, when you're watching that on Netflix, was there part of it you were like, oh man, I wish we wouldn't put this in, or what made you decide to go ahead and put that in the documentary?
Well, I really want, because I wanted people to understand what kind of freaking nut he is.
Yeah.
And he is a sexual deviant for sure.
Yeah.
And I can't get it, Russ. I mean, you're a man. Maybe you want to explain it to me now or off the air, but I don't get it. I don't get any man that wants to watch see his wife walk around with a strap on all the time. And yeah, there. Trust me, there's more to the story, but I just don't get it.
So do you think
I wanted the cocaine, and I still don't get it today.
Do you think he might have been like bi-curious or something like that?
Are you kidding me? Absolutely. Anybody that's so homophobic, and that's another thing I would tell him. Look, you are so homophobic, you have to be questioning your own sexuality. Otherwise, why do you care?
Right.
Do you care?
Are you happy with the way it turned out?
I really think it was good. I think everybody was represented well. I felt like everybody except Jim was truthful, and and as we said, it was fun to kind of relive the boxing side of it. It was a little bit tough to relive the personal side, but cathartic as well. I got to put it out there, and hopefully this helps some person that's in a tough situation, whether it be domestic violence, dealing with their sexuality, or whatever it might be. That hey, if she can do it, I can do it, and it'll just make people stronger.
It was empowering because you're a fighter, and so most people look at that and they're like, well, no one can touch her. I mean, she's a fighter. Look at her. She's knocking everybody out. There's no way. And it's so empowering because, people who do go through this, people don't understand. The one thing that I definitely connected with you a little bit on was that switch. When you talked about the switch, it just clicked. And once it clicks, that you have to fight for your life and you have to get out, and that's it. And that's exactly what you did. And that was wonderful to watch. To see and to hear that no matter how tough you are, no matter how tough you think you are, that switch has to click in order for you to really understand, that's it, I got to get out of here, and there's nothing else to do. And so that was really empowering as a female to watch, you say that. And for that, I'm so glad that you were able to get out of that, because that was obviously super extreme. But that was very empowering. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like what I went into that day thinking I didn't care if I lived or died, but somewhere halfway through, after being stabbed and he's pistol whipping me and everything, and then it was like, boom, no, you're not killing me today.
Yeah.
So it was amazing how.
What are your thoughts on him crying at the end? And you know him better than anybody. Was that authentic? Was that real? Were those real tears because he realized he's probably going to die in prison? I mean, he could have had a real thought there for a second. It could have been a real tear. What do you think?
If there were tears, it was because he's in prison and he's going to die in prison. Chances are, he has no remorse for anything he did to me. If he had remorse, that was the perfect platform for him to say something, but he didn't. He all through the marriage.
Yeah. Hey, so is he contends that you shot and stabbed yourself? Is that what he's trying to say?
That's what he says, and that was his defense. That I did it to myself. I mean, the truth is, the places that the stabs happened, it would be impossible to stab myself.
Well, of course.
And then to cut my calf muscle off my leg. Yeah, I mean, I might have done some crazy stuff, but I'm not going to do that. And I definitely didn't shoot myself.
Right. Savannah, question for the great Christy Martin, who's got a special out right now called Deal with the Devil on Netflix.
So, Christy, I definitely can relate to the part where your mom definitely took the side of the other person, which I find the most strange dynamic in any family. But I wanted to ask you, because they did talk a lot about the big fight, but they didn't talk, usually when people are abusers, they kind of groom. Were there other battles between, like physical battles in your home prior to this one big battle that ended it all? Because they didn't really mention that very much.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Jim. It wasn't physical many times until it was physical at the end. But it was like a verbal, emotional, mental beatdown every day. I mean, I was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He came home and told me how I was on the cover because of him, and it didn't matter. Anything that happened to me positive, he was able to put some kind of spin on it that it was because of him. And after a while, you got yourself. Is he right? Yeah. Is he telling the truth? You just really don't know it. And Stockholm syndrome is real because at first I felt a little guilty, and I'm like, why? What's wrong with me? But thank goodness I had some counselors, and they were, that is normal, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, coming with what you with what you said, he did make a comment about, hey, whenever anyone says anything great about Christy Martin, I feel like I'm the Rembrandt. I created that. You are complimenting me when you compliment her. What an effed up way of thinking. But that's what you lived with, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it was always all about him, and just you know, when he called people, when he called you, I'm sure it was, this is Jim and Christy Martin. You know, it was always, it could never just be, this is Jim Martin and I'm calling, you know, we would like to be on the show or whatever. It was always, he put my name in there, and I would tell him, don't, because what you say may not be what I believe, or it may not be what I want to get done. So don't say my name. But it was always Jim and Christy Martin, and yeah, drove me nuts.
And you might remember, and Savannah, you were there then. I don't know if I think Carlos was there at the time, but
yeah.
But when you guys would come in after you would leave, I would always say, God, that guy gives me the creeps, but she's awful cool because you know, you're from West Virginia, coal miner's daughter. We loved you, but he always gave me the creeps. Had no idea he was that horrible of a person. But yeah, So Savannah, question for Christy Martin.
Yeah, and a question for you, Russ, at the same time. So because of what Christy just said, I'm wondering, when he did, who did call you, Russ, or the radio station and try to have you guys on there?
It was him.
And how did that whole thing? Did that whole thing happen before the first time Christy was on our show? Yeah,
it was him. He called me and he said, you know, Jim and Christy Martin, exactly what she's saying. He would always, but I figured he had to, because nobody knew nor cared who he was. She was the star, so I didn't think anything weird about that. But just when his presence, when he came in the room, he seemed slimy. He seemed slimy, and he always told Christy what to do, and not to be anyway, Christy, you always would do it. If he told you to go stand in the corner, you'd go stand in the corner, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. Did you know that control was happening when it was going on, Christy?
You know, as I was very young, 23, I think 22, 23 years old when I got with him. And, you know, at first, yeah, so I would fight back verbally, you know, would argue back and try to stand my ground. But it's just after time and time and time, you get tired of arguing. So it's just easier to go along with what, you know, crazy crap he would want me to do and say than to argue. And so, you know, as time went on, that's what happened. I would often say, you know, he's the puppet master. My mouth moves and his words come out.
Yeah, we're losing a little bit of the connection there, but Carlos, I imagine this is probably something you want to ask about, because when they show the Layla Ali fight, it was pretty clear because of size and everything, you were outmatched, and you even had to put on like coats and stuff to for the weigh-in.
It would never happen today.
Why would they allow that fight to go on? I don't get it.
Well, one thing about it, we were in Mississippi, so Mississippi Commission was much more lenient, and we were able to get by with it. But yeah, I mean, you know, today it would be a hard sell. But with women's boxing, it's also tough. I mean, there's not that many women, and then there's not that many women that can generate that much publicity, and you know, in the same weight class.
Right.
So we were both trying. She was trying to come down. I was definitely going way up, and we wanted to make it happen. We both got paid well, and thought it would be a good fight for women's boxing. She was just too big. I couldn't. I just couldn't deal with her size.
Yeah, she was a lot bigger. Well, I know we have a poor connection or whatever, but Christy Martin, you were such a gem. Thank you for getting back to us right away and being on with us. And Carlos, you had something to say to her? I'm sorry.
No, you know what? The internet connection is pretty bad. I'm going to call you probably and talk to you about a couple of these things, because I just have so many questions for you. Honestly, what I wanted to share with you, Christy, is something you said there. You were trying to get the 50th win. You were trying to get this 50th win against somebody who really wasn't up to your caliber, and you were smoking them, and you didn't get it. But then in that courtroom, you got that win. You got that 50th win. And I want people to know that sometimes, like, you're expecting this one kind of destination to make you feel good. But if you just adjust and look at it a different way, like you did, you get that 50th win. And I'm so happy for you. And I hope you stop having those nightmares. I really do. I really hope you stop having those nightmares. And I'll call you and talk to you, because I actually really want to talk to you about boxing a lot. So, because I know that's what you want out of this. I know that's what you want out of this, is a lot for your promotions, for your fighters, and that's what I'm assuming.
You want to fight a YouTuber or something? Like, have you thought about doing that, Christy? Like, find a YouTuber on there, maybe like a knitting channel or something, and beat him up?
Man, you know what? I've been offered so much money to do it, and I actually, just this past weekend, I was in Las Vegas, I'm in a brain study. So, I had a stroke back in 2011, and but I asked the doctor after doing the brain study, did the MRI and everything. I'm like, can I just do it one more time? And he said no.
Oh.
I mean, he gave me detailed information that for the first time, I probably agree with no, because I don't want to take the risk.
Yeah.
So,
I
it
think
sucks. Absolutely sucks. Are you kidding me? I could make a truckload of cash
Christy,
right
I
now.
think you're going to get three major things out of this. Christy, I think you're going to get three major things out of this. Number one, you're going to get a movie about you, and you're going to get Jessica Chastain or somebody really amazing to play. Number two, your promotions are going to go a lot better now. And number three, I hope that somebody hires you as a striking coach on like maybe with Amanda Nunes or Valentina or one of these top level
because you can punch.
Because that's what that's what a lot of the boxing guys are doing. They're going and being the striking coaches to these MMA champs, and you obviously could do that.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys. I love you. Anytime that somebody falls out, you need to fill in, call me. I'm always here. And then when I can come back, I want to come in and hang out with you in studio.
Yeah, we would love that. One I know we got a couple minutes here, but one part of it we haven't mentioned yet is the fact that it really is a great love story too. I mean, the fact that with your partner that you're with now and how you guys met, and the very end of it, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad to see that she's happy. And as a viewer of it and someone who's a fan of yours, it was so nice to see you happy and in love. And I mean, that part of it I think is impactful.
We just have to hang in there. And to be honest, like the last thing I wanted, I told everybody that knew me, if I come in here and tell you that I'm serious about somebody, please hit me upside the head, because I do not want a relationship. And boom, out of the blue, here she came, and here we are. 4 years later, November we'll be married 4 years, and everything is great.
No. Is she someone that you formerly fought? Was she someone that you fought before?
Yeah, she was so mean. She cussed her out. When I saw you guys got together, I was like, whoa, what a swerve is this one?
Yeah. It was that was my last fight with Don King. It was on the undercard of Rockman Lewis, and I beat her, and I beat her soundly. But she's really she's strong. It was probably my best fight ever, because I used my brain to be smart and not go toe to toe and go to war.
Okay, it was that one where you said you had to use your brain, and you watched all those other boxing matches to kind of get technique. I get it. Yeah, okay, that's the one.
And then she sparred with you, right? Wasn't she your sparring partner for a while after that?
She did after that come and spar with me a couple times. One to help me get ready for Layla Ali, because she's tall, Lisa's tall, and she helped me a couple times. And then she showed up at a few of my fights. I actually did try to flirt with her at one of my fights. I was really totally drunk. I mean, blasted out of my mind. I was trying to flirt with her, but she said I'm a terrible flirt, so she didn't get it.
Look, you know what? Here, I'm looking at you and I'm watching you laugh and stuff, and I mean, just to think where you came from, the coal miner's daughter, the horror that you had to live. Most of us would never. And look at you now. I mean, it's a great story of perseverance. What word am I trying to say? That's the word I'm looking for.
Perseverance.
Yeah, perseverance, perseverance, and just sticking to it. And God bless you. And thank you for taking time to talk to us. It's the great Christy Martin. You can watch the Netflix special. It's called Untold, Deal with the Devil. And thank you, Christy, for talking to us, and good luck with the special. I know it's Savannah, didn't you say it's number 10 today on Netflix?
No, it's in the top 10.
In the top 10. Okay, good. So that's
it was yeah. So keep watching.
All right, very good.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Christy. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.